This video will save you at least $12,000 on your next new home purchase. Now, my name is Jaime Resendez and I run the DFW Homeowner Group, where I've helped negotiate millions of dollars of new construction real estate. Now, let's keep it very simple and focus on the three objectives. Number one is finding the home. Number two is negotiating the home. In other words, getting under contract. And phase number three is closing on the new build home. All right, so phase number one, let's find the home. And you may be thinking, okay, a new construction home, how hard could it be to find one of those? Well, you would be surprised because there's no centralized location that all the new build inventory happens to be in. You can go to Zillow, you can get access to the MLS, or you can use New Home Source, but you're not gonna see all of the inventory when it comes to new construction. In fact, over 50% of the new construction inventory never even makes it online. But before we start panicking, let's go through our system. In order to find your ideal home, first you need to start identifying what area you actually wanna live in. So as an example, if you're looking to move to the DFW Metroplex, don't look all over the Metroplex because looking for homes in McKinney versus Denton versus Crowley versus Red Oak is miles and hours apart. So first focus on an actual area. For this example, let's say we want to be around the McKinney area. Give ourselves 5 miles or 10-mile radius, it doesn't matter, but at least we have a focal point that we're going to focus on. Then what we do is start searching for new build communities. And this is when we tie back the conversation that we just had about there's no single place that's going to have all of the inventory that exists. So the best way to find as much of the inventory as you possibly can in that area is to use Google Maps. Just type in new homes into Google Maps and you're going to see the communities of different builders that are building in that area. So again, you started at the area, now you're finding some communities from that Google Map search. Now, as you build a list of communities, start identifying which builders are actually building in those communities. After you've identified the builder, start looking through the floor plans that the builder happens to build and see which floor plan makes most sense for you and your family. So again, we're first finding the area, identifying the communities, then we're getting into the builders, then we're getting into the floor plans. It's at this point that you have at least the bare minimum to go to the builders themselves and start inquiring a little bit further. But I do have to pause here for a quick second. What I just gave you is the back of the napkin math here. What is going to really help you out is a real estate professional that knows new construction. And you need both of those, a real estate professional that knows new construction. Not all real estate agents have an ounce of understanding of how new construction works. So please work with somebody that actually does new construction and does it well. As an example for us, the reason we're so confident with new construction is because we do this every day. And on average, we save our clients at least $12,000 on a new build purchase. So if you'd like for us to help guide you on your next new home purchase, our contact information is down below. Now keep in mind, we're still in our first phase. We're still trying to identify that home that we actually want to purchase. So when you actually go to the new build community and start visiting with some of these builders, you're gonna walk into model homes. And that's where you're gonna meet a sales rep that represents the builder. They don't represent you, they represent the builder. So they'll be asking you a few qualifying questions to better assist you. Now it's very important that when you're asked to sign in, that you place the name of the real estate agent that's helping you on the transaction. So if you happen to be working with us, awesome, thank you so much. Then of course you're putting my information. But if you're working with another real estate professional, make sure that you put that real estate agent's name, or else that real estate agent is cut out altogether, which means that they're not going to be able to represent you or advocate for you in the transaction. But I digress. Once you're speaking with the builder sales rep, they're going to give you the inventory available at that time and also what's coming down the pike. So it could be a month from now, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months and beyond. So you might find yourself looking at a home that's very close to being completed, or in fact already completed, that you might be able to go under contract with. Or if you're not pressed for time, you might go under contract on a home that's not going to be completed until a few months from now. Now, the important part of this entire phase is that you get down to one home that you want to move forward with. That's why you identify the area that you wanted to live in, the communities that we're building, the builders, the floor plans. You're going down to one property that you can now negotiate on. That whole journey can take a day or it could take 6 months. It really depends on your urgency. Now, what this means is that phase 1 is done. Phase 1 of finding the home. Phase 2 of going under contract, that's the fun part. Now, to better illustrate how to actually negotiate on a new build home, let's call our floor plan the Blizzard floor plan. That's what we're gonna use as our example. Now, you may be thinking the Blizzard floor plan sounds like a legit name. And you would be right. In honor of my first and only dog, Blizzard, we are going to use that in this example. In order to negotiate this Blizzard home, we're gonna focus on 4 main things. We're gonna negotiate off the price, we're gonna negotiate on the incentives, the upgrades, and the terms. Those are the only 4 things that you need to focus on, and the important thing here is we're going to negotiate. So let's focus on the price negotiation for a quick second and really get into the weeds here. Because if you go to ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini right now, if you ask, hey, can you negotiate the price on a new build? They're gonna say, yeah, but. They're gonna say that, yeah, you could negotiate the price, but it's not on the price itself. It's gonna be on everything else. It's gonna be on incentives, it's gonna be on upgrades, not the price itself. And that is 100% not true. If you see a brand new home out there for sale at $600,000, I guarantee you, we can get you into that home for far less than that. I guarantee it. As an example, check out this home that was for sale at $420,000 and negotiated down to $400,000. And then check out this home that was for sale at $394,000 and was reduced down to $350,000. Or how about this one that was for sale at $386,000 and was reduced down to $370,000? Listen, if you only paid attention to what AI is telling you that you cannot negotiate on the price, you're missing out on tens of thousands of dollars. There are real estate agents, many of them my friends, that had no clue that you could actually negotiate the price on new build homes. Now here's the key. If you happen to be negotiating this on your own without representation, now again, our contact information is down below. We represent you, we fight for you, and you win. But if you do happen to be representing yourself, when you make offers, you need to have some data behind those offers. Don't just throw out a low number for the sake of it. That's a really good way to lose credibility. See what is sold in the area and what you can realistically get that same floor plan for. And yes, once again, it's very helpful to have a real estate agent that has access to the MLS of what did make it online and what did make it to the MLS, because they'll have that information. Now that's just negotiating on the price. Now you need to negotiate on the incentives. Incentives are offered by a combination of builder, title, and lender, where they work together sometimes either through preferred partnerships or in-house, to where the builder can cover some of your closing costs that can then be used to cover the title cost or some lender cost. Now the incentives that you're ultimately gonna get are gonna be mostly contingent upon you using the preferred partners that they give you. So in this particular case, whether you're being offered flex cash that you can use as you wish towards your closing, or a fixed rate plus some closing cost credits, that's gonna be contingent on you using their preferred lender. Now I do have a video in this channel that talks about all of the incentives and which incentives actually make most sense for you. So check out that video because it's gonna be worth watching. But with that being said, if you're working with Trophy Homes or Meritage Homes or Highland Homes or Perry Homes or any one of these builders, they most likely will offer you some sort of incentive that has to do with a interest rate plus some closing costs. So let's go back to that Blizzard home that we're buying. Let's say that the builder is offering you 4% fixed cost plus $5,000 in closing costs. So that means that if you go with that preferred lender, you're gonna get a 4% interest rate, plus they're gonna give you a $5,000 credit that goes towards closing costs. Now this too is negotiable. If you're being offered $5,000 toward closing cost, that sounds good. But what sounds even better is if they offer you $7,500. And I get that for my clients all the time. Doesn't matter if it's D.R. Horton, doesn't matter if it's Highland, it doesn't matter, it just happens. So at this point, you've negotiated on the price, you've negotiated on the incentives, now we get to negotiate on the upgrades. Now here's the thing, oftentimes it's cheaper for the builder to do the upgrades on their end than for you to do them aftermarket. Now when I say cheaper, I'm saying it's cheaper for them because they already have the crew out there, they already have the material. They're gonna inflate their cost and pass it on to you or attempt to, but you get to negotiate on that fact. So as an example, if you wanted to do some upgraded fixtures, well, it's going to be cheaper for the builder to do that than for you to do that aftermarket. So that's why we need to negotiate that up front. Now this is where I have to get some distinctions out of the way. There's a difference between a production builder, oftentimes called a speculation builder or a spec builder, a semi-custom builder, and a fully custom builder. If you're doing a custom build or a semi-custom build, this is where the upgrades really matter for you. Because with those two types of new construction, there's actually decisions to be made on the cabinets, on the flooring, on fixtures, and things like that. When you're buying inventory homes or speculation homes, with those types of homes, they're already predetermined. They were predetermined 2 years ago, and they just happen to be building them right now. So you're not going to be really negotiating on the upgrades of the material of what's going on into your home. But what you are going to be negotiating when it comes to these upgrades is having them throw in the blinds package where they actually put up the blinds. Throwing in an appliance package to where not only do you get the stove and the dishwasher, but now you get the fridge, you get the washer, you get the dryer. Now you're going to want to listen back on this upgrades conversation because this is very powerful. Yes, price is fantastic. We love negotiating off of price. But when it comes to the upgrades, there's so much room here that is untapped. And the reason for that negotiating room here in the upgrades is because builders don't always push as far down as they're willing to go on sales price. Why? Well, because that'll destroy their comps. So here's something that no one's going to tell you. When the builder sales rep get beat up so much on the sales price by some, let's say, very knowledgeable real estate professional, the builder withdraws a listing, which is totally within the right to do, from the online world, in this case the MLS, because they do not want to publicize the price of the home that it was sold for, because that destroys their sales comps. And how do I know this? Well, after we get our offers accepted with the builder reps that I've been negotiating with, all of a sudden that MLS listing that was online has gone away. But let's keep it moving. You've negotiated 3 of the 4 things that you can negotiate with new construction. Number 4 is terms. Now here's the thing, the 4th one, the terms, that's not gonna have a ton of wiggle room. I'll be completely blunt with you. The major boulders are gonna be in the price and the incentives and the upgrades. And of course, terms do matter at the end of the day. But one thing that you do need to realize is that the contracts that you sign with the builders are so in favor of the builder, it should be illegal. It's not, of course, but just know that the builder contracts are so favored, and I mean ultra favored, ultra skewed towards the builder. The builder has 99,000 ways to get out of the contract. Now you might have 1.5. But anyway, let's get tactical here. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir. When it comes to the terms, some of the things that I like to negotiate on is going to be the earnest. So the earnest that goes into going under contract. And something else that I like to push back on is when we close. Now, yes, the builder does dictate when you're going to be closing, but if you play it just right and you push back in the right way, you can get a closing a little bit further out. Now, there are some advantages of when you close, largely with how much you're going to bring to the closing table and also when your first payment is due. So know that for the most part, you can negotiate on the earnest that you're putting down to get into the contract and also when you're closing. But if you don't get either, it's not the end of the world, but just know that you can have some flexibility there with certain builders. Now, once you both, the builder and you, come to an agreement on that blizzard home, it's time to contract, which involves you submitting your earnest money, whatever that happens to be. Most builders around here at a, let's say $400,000, $500,000 price point will ask about $5,000 in earnest. So you're going to be asked to submit that, and you're also going to be asked to do a pre-qualification with their preferred lender, because they need to make sure before you even go into contract that you can actually pay for this home. And then the third thing is you signing the contract. Now that is the conclusion of phase number 2, negotiating. Now that you've negotiated the best possible deal on your blizzard home, now is the time to actually close on the home. When you're under contract, you're going to collaborate with 3 main entities. That's going to be the title, it's going to be a lender, and it's going to be the builder. Now, if you have real estate representation, in other words, a real estate agent, that agent is responsible for doing all of that with you. But to keep this to the point, with the title company, you're essentially going to be working with them to ensure your title policy. In other words, ownership of the property. With the lender, you're working to get qualified for the loan to purchase the home. And with the builder, you're working with them to make sure that the home that they're building is up to the standards that you expect. Now, the only thing I'll say about title before we focus more on the lender and the builder, the title will usually not have a ton of communication back and forth. They'll come in later, they'll let you know how much you need for close, they'll let you know where you need to go and close. With new construction, the title companies are a little bit less involved, at least in my experience. With resales, they're a lot more engaged, there's a lot more communication, and there's just a different interaction. With a build, not as much. They're super important and they are vital, but as far as communication, don't expect a ton of it from the title. Now, from your lender, you need to work very closely with them to ensure that they have all the documentation that they need in order to approve you. And because once again, this lender is most likely a preferred lender, they're going to be able to streamline a lot of this process. So just be on top of it, just get to underwriting as soon as possible. And underwriting is essentially the final check, the final sign off. Your lender will submit your file into underwriting so underwriting can check everything. If they need clarification, they're going to reach back out to you over here and ask for clarification. Now, when it comes to the builder, this is where you want to pay very close attention. Depending on when you contract on that home, depends on how many inspections you need to have. If you contract on that home before they even break ground, your first inspection is going to be before they pour the foundation. Your second inspection is going to be pre-drywall. And your third inspection is going to be once it's completed. Now, for clarity, these 3 inspections are all third-party inspections. You need to hire the inspector. This inspector doesn't work for the builder, doesn't work for the city. They work and are accountable to you. And if they find something, all you have to do is take that report and submit it to the builder so they can address it. Now, here's the thing, the builder is going to address a good portion of the things that are actually wrong on the inspection report. There's going to be some things that the inspection report includes that are more differences of opinion, differences on code. So they're not going to address that, but the things that actually do need to be addressed, the builder will actually go and do them. So make sure that you get those third-party inspections done. Again, it depends on how far along the home happens to be. And as the home is complete, you're going to do what's called a blue tape walkthrough. Now, you're going to call it a blue tape walkthrough because you're going to put blue tape on all the imperfections of the home. Now, the builder's not going to call it that. They're going to call it an orientation. Now, at that orientation / blue tape walkthrough, you're going to that property and you're going to identify the imperfections in the home. So the builder can get the painters back out, their tile people, their roofers, and everybody else that built that home, and repair just about every imperfection that you find. Because they need to get you to what's called the final walkthrough, the last time that you see the home before you actually purchase it. It's at that final walkthrough that you're signing off that you've seen the home, that you're in agreement with the home's condition, and that you're moving forward with the purchase, which oftentimes happens a few days before you actually close on the home. And of course, the last step, the most joyous step, is you close on your home. Now, if you found value in this video, comment new build down below. And if you want to work with us to help you purchase a new build home here in the DFW Metroplex, or heck, all over the country, as we have relationships just about everywhere at this point, then our contact information is down below.